This meeting was called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was sent via email to the Union County local source and the Star Ledger on January 20th, 2026. In addition, copies of the notice were posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on the township's website. A copy of the notice is available to the public and is on file in the office of the clerk. Notices on the bulletin board have remained continuously posted. Proper notice having been given, the township clerk shall include this statement in the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, can you please do the roll call?
Bonanno. Present. Cook.
Present.
De Silva.
Present.
Joyner is excused. Lofton is excused. Vice President Kirsten.
Present.
Council President Garrison.
Present.
You have quorum.
Thank you very much. At this time, good evening, everyone. We're going to jump right into our ceremonial resolutions. The first reading will be by Councilwoman Lisa Bonanno, followed by Councilman De Silva.
Resolution proclaiming Women's History Month 2026. Whereas women have played a central and indispensable role in the founding, building, and flourishing of our nation, our state, and our township, often in the face of tremendous obstacles and without the recognition they deserve. And whereas from the suffragists who fought for the right to vote, to the trailblazers who broke barriers in the science, law, medicine, the arts, and public service, women have continuously advanced the cause of justice, equality, and progress for all Americans. And whereas the women of Hillside, as mothers, educators, healthcare workers, business owners, civic leaders, first responders, volunteers, and neighbors, contribute immeasurably every day to the strength, safety, and vitality of our community. And whereas Women's History Month offers a vital opportunity to reflect upon the achievements and sacrifices of women throughout the history, to uplift the voices of women whose stories have gone untold, and to reaffirm our collective commitment to a future of full and equal opportunity for all. And whereas the Hillside Township Council recognizes that honoring women's history is not merely an act of remembrance, but a call to action, to champion equality, dismantle barriers, and ensure that every woman and girl in our township may achieve her fullest potential. And whereas the launch of the very first Hillside First Friday Spotlight, a weekly series, we are honored to celebrate the women entrepreneurs who help shape the heart and spirit of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Hillside Township Council that the month of March 2026 be officially designated Women's History Month throughout the township. And be it furthermore resolved that Hillside Township Council calls upon all residents, schools, businesses, organizations to join in celebrating the extraordinary women who have shaped our history, to educate our youth about their contributions, and to honor the women in our midst whose daily acts of courage and service inspire us all. And be it furthermore resolved that the Hillside Township Council expresses its deepest gratitude to the women of our township, past, present, and future, and pledges its continued dedication to building a community where every woman is valued, respected, and empowered.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Resolution proclaiming St. Patrick's. Whereas St. Patrick's, the patron saint of Ireland, brought faith, hope, and perseverance to the people of Ireland in the 5th century, and whose legacy has inspired generations across the globe. And whereas generations of Irish immigrants and their descendants have enriched our township through their labor, creativity, traditions, and indomitable spirit, waving their green thread of Irish heritage into the fabric of their community. And whereas the traditions of St. Patrick's Day, the wearing of green, the play of traditional music, and the gathering of family and friends embody the value of joy, community, and cultural pride that our township here. And whereas our township is proud to be home to residents of Irish heritage and to all who on this day claim a little Irish in their hearts. And whereas we recognize that the spirit of St. Patrick's Day encourages in adversity, warmth of community, and celebration of life, belong to all people of every heritage in every corner of our town. And whereas the Union County St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held on Saturday, March 14, 2016. The first parade stepped off in 1997. With cooperative efforts, it has grown to be one of the largest St. Patrick's Day parades in New Jersey. Now therefore be resolved by the Township Council in recognition of the proud tradition that March 17, 2026 be officially designated as St. Patrick's Day throughout the township. And be it further resolved that the Hillside Township Council extends its warmest wishes to all residents for a joyful and festive celebration and encourage the community to come together in the spirit of friendship, unity, and enduring love of the Irish.
Thank you, Councilman. And we'll move right into the minutes. Is there a motion for the December 9, 2025, noting that it is from the last year's council? So is there a motion from a council member?
Motion.
There's been a proper motion and seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Same.
Thank you. And next, we'll have the February 10th. Is there a motion for the meeting minutes?
Motion. Second.
There's been a proper motion and seconded from Cook and from Jersey. Who was the motion? It was. You want to hear? He hasn't seen. For February?
You said February 10th.
For February. Oh, I'm looking straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. All right. So we are not going to go vertically. We're going to go horizontally. So then for the next meeting that was in December, we will restate. So the first that I called was December 9th. The next would be December 23rd.
Motion.
There's been a proper motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you, Council. And next we'll go to February 10th. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And finally, for the final minutes for February 24th, is there a motion?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes have now been properly moved. We're going to move into the payment of bills. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion.
Is there a second? Are there any questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Banano?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Joyner is excused. Lofton is excused. Vice President Fierstein?
Yes.
Council President Garrett?
Yes.
Carried.
And moving to ordinances. The first, Madam Clerk, would you please read it? And we're on the first readings and introduction.
An ordinance O-2601, an ordinance amending chapter 291, section 10, paragraphs A through J, overnight parking of trucks and/or buses prohibited.
Motion.
Yeah.
Is there a motion? I was just waiting because I saw that you were looking at it. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
Yes, that's some comments.
Yes.
For those residents here, those that are home, this will eliminate these trucks that park along Long Island and some of our local streets. And these individuals have working vans that have commercial plates can no longer park on the streets overnight. So this should alleviate some of the parking for our neighborhoods and allow these folks to find a place to park their vehicles properly.
I do have a question for the attorney. We have had this on the books for many, many years. What is going to make this different? Since this has been something that we've been actually, that has been in place, there's been a number of increases, not just on Long Avenue, but the commercial vehicles have been throughout the neighborhood as well. So can you just speak to how this is different than what has already been on the books and how will it be enforced differently?
Well, in looking at the resolution, there's nothing that should be able to stop it.
Can you use the mic next to you?
This is not working. Good evening, Council President, Willie Caucus, Township Attorney. We have the director who actually wrote this.
Okay.
I would like to come speak.
Sure.
Explain the third.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. So the current ordinance is being amended. Currently, the ordinance allows a fine of $100 to $250, which requires a court appearance. This is how the fine is going to be. The current ordinance allows no parking.
And before you speak, can you just introduce yourself,
Oh,
please?
John
Some of
Silva.
the residents may not know who
Yes.
you are. This is your first
Yes.
presentation before the council and the public.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is John Silva. I'm currently here as a zoning officer and working in code enforcement department as well, in the township. Also UEG coordinator, and I'm also a member of the planning board, class member of the planning board administration. This is my 5th week on the job. So the mayor asked me to look at what we can do to have a more robust enforcement of commercial vehicles parked on township streets. The current ordinance lists a fine of $100 to $250. Since it's a range, that means that the court decides what the fine is. The current one is also lists you can't park from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So this proposed amendment would make the fine $175 payable, no court appearance. You can go online, pay the fine. If you want to contest it, you call for a court appearance. So I'll cut down on people having to appear in court, scheduled these court as well. Secondly, this ordinance prohibits parking from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we did that because it's hard pressed. If you park your truck at 8 o'clock, you come back at 11 o'clock to move it. So that was the recommended amendments to the ordinance. So there's a whole project to employ parking enforcement officers part-time, working at night from roughly 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. to address these commercial vehicles parking on the street. That was part
So this is the first reading, so there can be adjustments to the ordinance.
Yes.
But I wanted just a clarification for the council and the public so that if there were questions or comments, because there is a growing need. 8 p.m. may be a little bit too late, 7 o'clock may be a little bit more feasible. This is a working class community, but when you think about the hours that a lot of construction or other may come home, the councilman spoke about Long Avenue, but I think this is an array of issues around the town. So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction to not have to go to court. I think that's the biggest notable change in this particular ordinance that has been in place.
and the hours.
The hours,
The hours.
the amount, and also not having to go to court.
Correct. And just I'll close by saying, we looked at other municipalities. Irvin is $150, some towns up to $200. So the $175 is kind of in the middle. But now it's no rain, so I'm getting to be more. That concludes my comments. Unless you have any
And
questions,
lastly, so the 175 would go to what department?
they come to the township.
So it would just go, so if someone wrote a ticket because it was going to court, so is that going to be just to like the general fund? Is it designated to anything specific?
That's all the fines. All payable fines go to the general fund.
But it's something that we can consider if we want the funds for this to go somewhere.
But
The
that's
second reading.
beyond my scope. Anything can be negotiated, but right now all fines go to the general fund to cover the cost of running departments and things like
We
that.
can talk about it with the CFO and then done. Thank you so much. Are there any other council questions?
Just real quick.
Council Vice President.
Yes, Mr. President.
When people have commercial vehicles, can they park them in their personal driveways?
No, so we're going through a process now of really updating many of our ordinances. So currently, parking commercial vehicles on registered property is prohibited. And that's something else we're looking at enforcing as well. And it's on the property, it's a code violation, it's on the property. So we're going through updating, and my goal is one a week, so I don't want to bombard the council, but we're looking at what we have on the books and how we can make it easier to enforce. Like not going to court is big, because no court appearance, no mail, and so forth and so on. So that's what we're looking at, revising ordinances, making it that much easier to enforce. But this is going to be a big one because I did a proof of concept. We're on for a half hour at 9 o'clock, about 10 vehicles in a half hour. I mean, it's all over town. It's not long town, this is everywhere. There's pickup trucks and ladders on school buses.
So, and that's even in private driveways.
That's correct, because it's a zoning code violation as well because it's zoned residential, not commercial.
Can I just ask, what do people do if they have a company vehicle?
Well, currently the ordinance prohibits parking of commercial vehicles on residential properties. That's the current ordinance. If the company thinks something different, that's the prerogative of the council. But right now, the goal I've been tasked with is enforcing commercial vehicles parked on the street and commercial vehicles parked on residential property. And there's some ways we can sort of manage it, but right now, that's what's on the books.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Yes, Madam Councilwoman. Banano.
A quick question. What entities will be charged in enforcing these fines?
Well, the ordinance written can be enforced by code enforcement or the police department, either or. And part of it,
Please.
being code enforcement, we could leave a lot of police to more police-related matters. That's why we can enforce either way.
Any other additional council questions? I just have one. It may not be in this particular ordinance, but it's a matter that's somewhat connected. There are some commercial businesses that actually do their business on the streets. So they bring multiple cars. I don't know if it can be wrapped into this particular ordinance or something separate to look at, but it's again another nuanced issue that's in the township that's becoming an issue. So if it's something that could be a part of this, I'm not sure, that might be a stretch, but if there is commercial businesses operating on the streets of Hillside, is that something that could be considered? Not to answer now, but of course we can, but can you just look at that?
So most towns have prohibition against repairing vehicles on the street, washing cars on the street. I'm still going through the municipal code now, and that's why I'm looking at what we can update, but that is happening as well. These little mechanics that come change the oil, chip oil on the ground, leave parts on the street. And it's a growing business because folks have side hustles. But again, going through the remote ordinances, and if that's not a current ordinance, we can update that. But that would be something that would be mostly enforced by the police because we don't carry a gun or a badge. So if we go and stop and work on the car in the middle of the street, that would be more of a police matter. That way we avoid confrontation.
Well, thank you and welcome to the township.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you.
So there's been a proper motion and second and discussion. Please call the roll. Thank you.
Banano?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Council Vice President Pearson?
Yes.
Council President Garrettson?
Yes, thank you. We'll move to the next ordinance, please.
Ordinance L2602, an ordinance amending chapter 188, section 44, paragraph D, to increase the fee for a zoning permit application.
Motion. Second.
I didn't even call it, but thank you. So there's been a proper motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Can we just clarify, what is this increase to?
So currently our fee for zoning permit application is $35. It's been the same since 2007. It's not increased in 19 years.
Can you repeat that again? It's been the same
It's been the
since when?
same since 2007. It's not increased in 19 years.
Okay. And it's
So
20.
attached to that package, it should be, I did a comparative analysis of 25 other townships. Is that attached to your package?
Yeah.
Right, so that's why I want
Can
you to
you
know
just
that.
explain it though, because
Oh, okay.
just give the highlights.
Yes, so I did a comparative analysis of 25 municipalities that showed that our rates are very low. So the proposal is an application for residential Zoning permit is $80, before commercial property is $160. And you look some towns, I mean, earlier it was 129, some towns are 200, West Orange is 75 and 200. So make sure we're within the range. Some towns are still outdated as well. But that was, I didn't think it over $100 for residential, but I thought that would be fair, $80 and $160 for commercial.
And again, this is the first reading, so
Yes.
if council would like to look at this particular ordinance a little bit further, is there anything else you'd like to highlight on this particular?
No, just an example of what we're looking at, bringing to council to sort of update and bring it to council. Working as hard as I can to get to me before council, with the mayor's approval, the mayor's approval.
Exciting. Thank you very much.
You're
Any other questions from the council?
Thank you.
Thank you for the word. Please call the roll.
Banana? Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Vice President Fierstein?
Yes.
Council President Garrison?
Yes. We're going to now move into, thank you, Madam Clerk, we're going to now move into our resolutions. And we begin with the first.
Resolution R-26-047, resolution appointing risk management consultant for the 2026 fund year.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple questions on this.
Mr. Councilmember, before we do, can we have the CFO, BA speak to this matter, and then perhaps you might answer, and if not, you can have your question?
Sure.
Thank you, Madam President. So yeah, this resolution basically is appointing a risk management consultant for our workers' comp and liability coverage. We were giving an approved list by the JIP, which we were part of, so we did not procure it ourselves. We took a name off the list to appoint. Basically, the fund will pay the consultant. They consult us on any of the outstanding issues with the Joint Commission.
Mr. Councilman?
So part of the question was answered. So I'm guessing this is usually done January 31st by that date, correct?
Correct.
So the question is this company, is this the company that the township already had in place? Did it go to RFP? Is it a new company?
No, this is a new company. The last company was carryover at the time that we appointed. So basically, when we switched over, last meeting, you guys appointed me to the commission, one of the commissions. Then the next step was to appoint who you're going to have as your risk manager. So this is what we do. So we chose fair to go off the list. They had a list of about 25 names. So we chose fair.
So it was done by RFP?
No, the RFP was done by the Joint Commission.
By the JIP.
Now the other question is, are we covered for the first 2 months of the year?
Sure. Yeah, the coverage was with the statewide JIP. So they cover.
Thank you.
And again, it might be important to note that the reason that things didn't start on January 1st, just again, for just the public record, why didn't it happen?
Correct. Well, we were in the transition. The new administration came on board in January 15th, and appointments of different resolutions happened the first meeting after that.
Thank you, Mr. Lear. So there's a proper motion on the floor and a second. Please call the roll.
Banana?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Vice President Fierstein?
Yes.
Council President Garrison?
Yes. Moving to item 2, please.
Resolution R-2648, resolution appointing a municipal alliance coordinator to the Township Municipal Alliance Committee.
Mr. Lear, you want to speak to this item, please?
Yeah, this resolution represents a small grant we get through the county, trying to reestablish it. I think we had stopped it for a few years.
Yes.
So it's coming back. It's not a large amount, but it calls for you to appoint someone to represent us in the head of that committee. So this is the appointment of that. Hopefully, over the years, it will go back up to what it was in the past.
And the Municipal Alliance was an initiative, or is an initiative that
Mayor Hyde has been very much an advocate and supportive of, so it's very good that we can move this particular item. I know that it is in collaboration with several entities, in addition to the police, school district, and other. There was some active work that, as our former councilman, current mayor, was able to do with this committee, so I'm excited to see this back on, so thank you. So let's definitely move forward. I believe I wholeheartedly support the reinstatement of the municipal lines that was removed from the township. So there's been a motion and a second. I just am so excited. So I'll just say, I would like to have a motion
Motion.
and a second.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Banano?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just feel so excited, so I'll hold the Madam Councilwoman.
I believe you answered it today. Without appointing someone to the municipal environments, we were not eligible for those dollars, so we were not able to collect those dollars.
With the past, yeah, in the past, there was a debate over who should control it, and then the county board.
At the next level. So we didn't receive it.
We didn't receive it.
And this is reinstating.
Reinstating it.
Thank you.
And so we're going through the process. One of the process was approval of the resolution, and then they also we needed somebody that could dedicate that.
Thank you very much for the clarification.
Thank you so much, Council. Any other questions?
Just a quick comment, Council President. Just for the public, this is a grant to help fight drug abuse and substance abuse in the community, and we haven't had it since about 2017 with government.
Thank you. So there has been a proper motion, a second. There has been questions from the council, and at this time, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Banano?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Vice President Pearson?
Yes.
Council President Garrett?
Yes.
Carried.
And we're moving on to item number 3. Will be the next item.
Resolution R2649, resolution to support the county to seek federal funding and to request that the county of Union design and install new traffic signals.
Mr. Biet?
Sure. This resolution is just a resolution supporting the county's application to install traffic signals. They're looking to replace 2 on Hillside, one right here on Liberty and Hillside Avenue. The other one is on Maple and Hillside Avenue. So we definitely need to upgrade the traffic signals, and we want you to support this. We also sent a letter in from the mayor, also supporting the grant. It's just an application at this point, but hopefully it'll come through and this is changing the traffic.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second. Are there any questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Banano?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Vice President Pearson?
Yes.
Council President Garrett?
Yes. And just point of order, typically a caucus meeting would be that we discuss these items. Since this is the time that we're actually discussing the items, is why I'm having the VA explain each item for the council and also the public. And then I'm going into the council to do the motion. So just for protocol, that's how we're actually moving through this particular agenda this evening. So the next item, please.
Resolution R2650, authorizing an agreement between the Township of Hillside, Department of Health, and the Seton Hall University School of Nursing for the term of February 12, 2026 through February 12, 2029.
Mr. BA.
Yes. This here is a program that the health department is trying to implement to supplement some of the nursing needs. As you know, we only have a part-time nurse that works part-time. Most of her activities are dedicated towards small programs. This will expand because we will have the university bringing in nurses to Hillside, serving the different department, the health department, and all the health needs throughout the town. At this point, there is no cost involved.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions?
Just a quick question, Council President.
Yes. So Vice President.
Is this term determined by the university, the 3-year term?
Yeah, it's an agreement that the director of health.
Can we go longer, or this is a...
Well, we'll start there and then we'll see how we can expand.
Thank you.
Any other council questions? Please.
Just one question. Is it for senior services as well as the T-Bone station, or do we still?
They will supplement all of the health services for it. Seniors will be able to
That's wonderful.
I just wanted to know why the date started in February, not January.
But I guess this was the date that actually they were discussing it. It's really, they discussed it, they came to terms, and wanted to move forward. So that they hadn't really started, so we did adjustment.
Okay. So there's been a proper motion and second on the floor. Any additional questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Banano?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Vice President Pearson?
Yes.
Council President Garrett?
Yes.
Carried.
Moving right along, we're going to the next item, please.
Resolution R 2651, resolution authorizing the revaluation of property within the Township of Hillside to be effective for 2027 of that year.
Mr. B.A.?
Yes. This, as some of you may be aware, that the township has been ordered by the county tax and state tax division to do a complete townwide revow. And so revow, they're trying to get it to have it completed and on the books for 2027. So this is the first step in the process. For the first step is to prove that we will do the revow. The next step will be we have to put together an RFP, put it out to bid, and then we'll get pricing. So we'll come back to you for that, and then the revow company will start. It normally takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months to complete. We might not hit the deadline based upon the timeline that we're coming up with that, but it is mandatory, and so we're trying to just move forward.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion?
Motion.
A second, please. Is there a second, please? I will second the motion.
Question when you have a second.
Any questions?
Yes. So I understand it's being mandated. However, we've had a 20% increase in 2 years in taxes. This reevaluating your properties means that these homes probably haven't been reevaluated in 40 years. That means if your house is worth $100,000, today is worth $600,000, what do you think is going to happen to your taxes? Okay, so with that being said, I stood on the platform with the residents of Hillside, and I will not support this resolution today. I don't think it's the right time. And during the climate of what's going on in Hillside, I will not support a resolution that's going to provide an increase 1 year or 2 years down the road. We need to fix here first before we move to that. Thank you.
So, Mr. B.A., can you actually speak to the statement from Councilman, because this is not something that is an optional thing, this actually is coming down. Can you speak to a little bit about what the process is for the reevaluation?
Yeah, I mean, the process overall, let's start with the law. So basically, the state is going to mandate it. You do not do it, then what happens is the state will go to court and get a judgment and make us do it. And if you don't do it, then they will fine each one of you guys up until the time we get it done. The whole process of revow is to bring it up to date. Your point in reference to the property hasn't been revowed in about 40 years is correct, and that's one of the reasons why. So, in doing the revow, it will bring the values up to market rate. So right now what happens is they have what they call an equalization rate that makes it equalized to the current market rate. The county puts an equalization on it to bring it up to the current market rate. So then what will happen is if the property values go up and all of the values go up, then there's a recalculation of what we call the tax rate. So 9 times out of 10, if the property goes up substantially, then our tax rate will go down because we only need to hit our tax levy. It's going to stay the same. So typically what happens is it's usually 1/3 will go down, 1/3 will go up, 1/3 will stay about the same. But overall, it's something that's mandated because of the time frame that we haven't done. In Essex County, they've made all the towns do it. They've been doing it every 5 to 10 years. Union County has been behind the 8 ball. I think only 1 or 2 municipalities in Union County has had rebound, so they make everybody do it now throughout the state. So it's just a matter of time for the state forces to support it now. Administration position has basically been trying to get ahead of it. So if we look at it, we confront it, then we can adjust what we need to adjust that it won't impact the residents and their taxes completely way out of whack, but it will just align everything up to make the assessments and our rebound successful.
Mr. Legislative Research Officer, in hearing the business administrator, CFO, in hearing the councilman, I believe that the entire council is concerned about our 20% increase in 2 years. That is not a secret number. We all are concerned about a revaluation. But what proactive things can the council do? It's not just abstaining or supporting or rejecting, but is there something tangible that we can have research, legislatively, legally, that as a community, that we can do to prepare ourselves? Of course, the administration, as we stated, are trying to get ahead of this, but is there anything that we can charge our legislative research officer to possibly do in hearing some of the concerns from the councilman? And I think the sentiments are shared across the board, but we want to be proactive and not just reactive. So is there anything we can explore doing, including, I would like to know which municipalities in Union County have currently gone through the rebound. I think data is not on our side yet. We need to have exactly what municipalities have gone through rebound. Is there any data on what happened in Essex County or a municipality similar size to ours, so that we're not talking hypothetically, but we can talk realistically and talk to our residents?
Thank you, Madam President. The largest concern in terms of the state is that they will impose a rebound or appoint a revaluation. Or they may impose their will upon the town by retaining their own rebound expert and having a rebound done in your town without you present. But aside from that, the city council, the township council can make a statement to the state that we don't think we should be subjected to rebound at this time, given what our tax increase was. And that will take collaboration of data from the tax assessor, from the tax collector, and some residents and township council members to analyze what we've suffered through in terms of a large tax increase over the last 2 years, and then ask that there be some time taken so that we don't have to go through with the rebound. Many years ago, 25 years ago, the board made that kind of application. They only got relief maybe for a year or two, and then they were forced to go through a rebound. But I think the business administrator's point is correct, that eventually they're going to go through a rebound. And the thing that you don't want as a council is for them to retain their own expert, impose their own rules, and do their own rebound, and we just have to end up paying. And I also don't think the council should be lost on the point that if the rates go up, if taxes go up in extraordinary amounts, once you lower the percentage of taxes, it brings it back down to a more affordable level. But those are the kinds of things that you can put into a resolution to be sent to the state to let them know what you're concerned about and to ask for some relief in this regard for a period of time.
So the only additional question I'll ask in regarding this particular resolution that is before us, if we vote on it tonight and or if we vote on it at our next council meeting, will we be able to do some of the due diligence, or does one preclude the other? Because in hearing the councilman, I understand his concern, but just want to know the timetable. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks. Do we need to make this decision this evening, or can we prepare maybe a companion resolution that would specifically address some of the things that have been outlined here to show that the council is not just supporting something without having a plan? I don't want us to just be left flat foot, but I do think that the work we have done is putting us in a good position of life support this evening.
Once you vote on this resolution, what you're essentially doing is you're allowing the administration to undertake the proper steps to retain an expert and to start the revow process. You're authorizing the attorney to start the draft of a contract and so forth. So that it's time between the time you pass this resolution, which supports the administration's goal in complying with the state. But in the meantime, we need to swiftly put together our research, our documents, and our data to make the kind of plea that we want to make from the council.
So to the administration, would you like this to be voted on this evening, or would we be able to have 2 weeks to be able to bring it back at the next meeting? Just so that the unreadiness, I don't know the feeling of all of the council members. I'm just getting the feeling over here. Like I was excited before. I feel nervous now. We got it.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks, I think, won't hurt us. It's just, the clock is ticking. I know they delayed time. So, but, 2 weeks.
And that way we can also discuss with the council so that we can also just make sure the questions, the concerns that were raised, we can at least attempt to try to address them. Sure. So you heard a few this evening. I don't know if there's others. Council Vice President.
So I think for me also the big question I'd like to find out is how are these calculations done? If we have any ideas based on other township municipalities, maybe if we do the calculations, we'd have a better idea about how it would affect residents here in Hillside.
Yeah, it's like an appraisal. So what happens is they go out and they evaluate, then go into every house. That's why it takes so long. So they attempt to get into everyone's property and do an assessment or an appraisal in actuality. So it's appraisal going on.
I mean, is there a calculation of, okay, once they do the appraisal,
right?
Let's say we know the homes are now assessed at 300,000, the appraisal comes in at 400. What does that mean to people saying?
So what happens is it's a long process. So they go out, try to get into the houses. They come up with what they call an appraisal value. They look at it from several different ways, what the market is, what the construction, individual houses have work done to it versus the next door neighbor, and then they come up with a value. After they come up with that first initial value, they will also have what we call community meetings, giving the community an opportunity to come in and to argue whatever the values are and also discuss it. We do that on a couple of occasions. One, we'll set up public meetings so folks will understand. And then if they can't get in the house, they will just use general market appraisals to come up with the value. After it comes up to the value, and that value is accepted by the state, but it also has to be accepted by the state. So they come up with a value, the state through the county will look at it and says, okay, these numbers are good to go. And then once that happens, then it becomes the levy. Out of the levy, we go into the regular calculations of how we come up with your tax. So because our levy, say, only needs $80 million, we then calculate what the rate is. So if we had a rate of, say, $10 per 100, plus the values that have gone up in that calculation,
the rate goes
the
down.
rate goes down. So if it's there, then you can see that the rate, instead of being $10, will go down to $5. So then that brings the overall tax. So it doesn't happen.
Are businesses included in this assessment?
This is
every property.
Every property.
So it could be that some homes will not be as affected, some will be majorly affected, and the ones in between.
Right. My experience is, depending on, Hillside has a pretty large industrial base. So you'll see industrials that have an impact. Commercial properties where there are apartment buildings, they will have an impact. And then you have the residents. So you have a number of different categories that will change.
Is there a deadline to pass this?
Well, to pass the resolution we have on.
Yeah.
Well, the main goal is they gave us a mandate. They wanted to try to get it on the books by 27. Based on our experience, that probably won't happen because we're getting started so late. So we'll give you a timeline, an estimated timeline. If we prove it tonight, it's still going to take us about 6 weeks 4 weeks to 6 weeks.
The RFPs and
to
everything.
get the RFP. Then it's gonna take them maybe another 30, 40 days. So that's pretty much all the way into summer. 9 times out of 10, it usually takes them 6 to 9 months to finish the revamp. So we already gonna pass
The deadline.
the January date that we need to be able to get it on there.
We're working backwards. They haven't said if you don't have this by January 1st, 2027, we'll impose fines or anything. They haven't done that yet.
No, their whole thing is they, you know, as the legislative reach officer said, the whole thing is to get you started. And then if you make our appeal, try to delay, try to stage off, you have opportunity to do that. But one of the things they realize is it's only a handful of companies in the state that does revamp. So they're busy, they can't get to us anyway, depending on who it is. So a lot of times they go to.
So I know there's been a motion and a second.
Madam President, if I may,
Hold on. Oh,
if I may, I appreciate what you guys are saying. I do agree with a lot of what you're saying. I'm a real estate professional, and I deal with this all the time. I'm telling you, we can delay it, we can wait, or wait until the state mandates it, and then work on it, and it'll be 2028 by the time we start getting on the way, which gives us 3 years to get our ducks in order, and then start that process. So I'm telling you, it's more than 1/3 of the house that are going to go up. I guarantee you. It's way more than
So
Thank
for the statement, I was going to actually withdraw my second, and the mover of that particular motion was, because I think the second is going to do it.
The mover was Cook. It just table. Table will probably be able to
So we're going to vote to table, but I was moving the mover to the table. Robert was my second. So at this time, can we have a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Second.
So there's been a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Move to the next.
Thank you.
Resolution R2652, authorize payment of accumulated severance liabilities. Kenneth Orange.
Can you move 6 of them together?
Yes. Resolution R26053, resolution authorizing payment of accumulated severance liabilities, Francisco Vega Police Department. Resolution R26054, resolution authorizing accumulated severance liabilities for Hope Smith Department of Administration.
Is there a motion? Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Banano? Yes. Cook?
Yes.
De Silva?
Yes.
Vice President Pearson?
Yes.
Council President Garrett?
Yes.
Carried.
So at this time, we're going to move into public comments. We'll come back. For communication at this time, is there a motion to go into public comments?
Motion to close.
Is there a second? Second. If there are any public comments this evening, please come to the floor. State your name. Our clerk will record the time. We will be the best to respond to your questions.
Hi, my name is Janice Caldwell, 140 Baltimore
Down a
Avenue.
little bit. Thanks again.
140 Baltimore Avenue. And foremost, I want to congratulate the new people that's sitting here and I'm here. Okay, I didn't get a chance to do that, so I want to do that first and foremost. And then I'm going to R26051, property reevaluation. We got a serious problem with that. Okay, and I can go down the line, and I agree with Amanda. Okay, now, our property tax went up over 20%. I think that's an evaluation itself. 20% in 2 years? So why do we need to have this evaluation of our property? I experienced that in 1997, okay? And people property taxes went from 5,000 to 12 and 13,000. Okay, and if there's anything we can do, even if the public get together and we write the governor and we start a petition, okay? Because I don't think that our town and the people in our town can afford to continue to pay these property taxes. And I know you guys are talking about the state, but you guys knew, and I'm talking about the old people who were sitting on here, you knew because I think it was mentioned at a caucus meeting, David brought it up that there's going to be a reval in Hillside, but yet and still our property tax was going up, knowing that we was going to face this in the future. And now you're coming back to the table and making us feel it's mandatory. Well, we need to take the following steps to stop it. Even if it takes 4 years or 5 years, hopefully a lot of us will be gone. Okay, enough is enough. Do whatever you need to do to stop this. Put it off. Newark haven't had I don't think they had an evaluation, and I don't know how long. Their property was not evaluated, and they didn't even come out. They fought for that for years and years, and they didn't do it. They came to Hillside in 1997, and they did it here. Okay, so it hasn't been 40 years. It's been less than 40 years. Okay, and I think the last mayor already evaluated us up to 20%. And if we can write the state or write anybody and let them know our position about what we faced before and what we are going to be facing in the future, I think we should have that opportunity, and you guys should have the opportunity to fight for us, to not do this. Show what you're made of. That's why you're here now, to make a difference for the people. And I agree with them 100%. If you can postpone it until 2028, 2029,
It's your time.
Okay, 2030, do that.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public comments? Thank you.
Good evening, Gail Hunter, 1045 Fairview Place. First of all, like she said, congratulations. This is my first meeting. I'm really proud to be here. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to put that on the record. And I just also want to put on the record, it's not the mayor who's asking for the assessment. I'm just going to put that on the record. I have 3 things. First of all, I don't know who these gentlemen are, so it would be nice if we introduce them to the public and tell us what their role is. My second one is, how does it affect the assessment? We have businesses that are not paying taxes. How does that affect them? And will they be assessed now that we're doing the reassessment? And my final was, there are 3 or 4 projects, the library, a medical, and the pool. You guys are not accessing for. I'm just saying, what is the progress of those 3? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. So we will start with the first gentleman that's at the table, and that's Fahim Raouf, who is the business administrator / CFO. We'll then have him introduce everyone who's at the table after he makes his comments, please.
Yes, my name is Fahim Raouf. I'm serving as the BA and CFO for the Township. To my left is Dr. Willie Parker. He's the Township attorney. And right in front of me is Dwayne Warren, Esquire, who's the Council's Legislative Research Officer. In reference to, I think you had a question around the commercials. Yes, the commercial properties will be reassessed, so just as well as all of the properties throughout the township. You asked a question around progress on the library. The library construction had officially started in December. It's scheduled to be completed by, it was originally scheduled to be completed by the end of December of 26. We do have an extension for 30 days from the contractor, so that one should be completed by no later than February of 27. I think we have another question around another project.
The library, the medical, that's on Long Avenue.
Right. The medical building on that the township owned, that's pretty much still the status quo. We don't have any movement on that. We're looking at some grants to deal with that. And the pool, the first phase,
For the spray part.
right, was the spray park. In the original, I should say in the plans, there's 3 phases. So phase 2 pretty much have the dollars for it, which is to create the pool itself, along with and then the last final phase was to add a facility that would be around it. We're currently reevaluating that, and we may make some changes and some tweaks to the plan, because the 3rd phase is still short of about $1 million, about $1 million, $1.2 million overall. So, but it's scheduled there. We in the process of switching out some of the professional engineers, and we're reevaluating the whole concept to see if it's some way to make some changes to make it more usable and more advantageous for the township and the kids.
Which bathroom?
Yes.
Are there any other questions from the public at this time? Someone's coming back up, and then Ms. Gail after, there's no more comments.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Vincent.
Good evening.
My name is Vincent Esokoli.
Come a little bit closer.
My name is Vincent Esokoli, and I live on 551 Broad Street. My question is regarding to the pool. Now, I just heard somebody telling me or saying that it will be re-evaluated. In what sense? And also, is there additional fee that will go along with that? Thank you.
Mr. B.A.?
Yeah, just the reevaluation basically is just to look at the overall plan and to make sure that we actually are to get something that's beneficial to the community. So basically, right now, I believe the overall pool was a small pool. It wasn't a large pool. So some of the concerns was whether it's small or should we try to bring it back to what it originally was. So there's no additional fees at this point in time, but we just want to reevaluate to see if there's a possibility to make some changes at this stage in time to make it more feasible for the community and to get it back to what it originally was.
Thank you.
Just a little closer.
And congratulations. Danny Davis, 1544 Morris Place. 2 questions. The restaurant across the street, where do we stand with that and with Bristol Myers?
Mr. B.A.?
The restaurant across the street is in the midst of working through the ABC board. So they still have to meet there and come up with a determination. There's a law in the books that says that you cannot have a liquor license within 500 feet of town hall. And I don't think that meets the law. So there's some dialogue and conversations going back and forth that has to be met to deal with that. In reference to Bristol Myers, that project pretty much is been ready to move. Construction has started. I think that we have a planning board meeting tomorrow. The planning board is to do their final vote on their resolution, and then they'll move forward with demolition and beginning construction.
And we were talking about parking with commercial vehicles. I live on a dead end, and my street now, I call it contract road, but I have 3 contractors, and 2 of the houses on my block, 3 of them really, are owned by LLCs. They are a lot of trucks, a lot of cars. Trucks are parked in front of my house. I can't even sit out on my front porch and look outside because the trucks are parked in front. There's so many cars. And if anyone knows Morris Place used to be so quiet. The only cars on that block used to be the homeless, the people that lived here. And we all kept our cars in our driveway. driveways or in our garage. I know I can't stop anyone from parking on the street, but you can't even communicate now with some of the people. If you go to them, they say they don't speak English. You got to find a child to try and say, don't do this, or, would you not do that? And I'm trying to be neighborly. But when you're driving all along my road, you're missing the blacktop altogether. And then when I come out and point it out to you, now you understand what I'm saying. So if we have things on the book, we need to start following. We need to start enforcing the rules that we have. Okay? This is a small town. It used to be only single-family homes. Now we have one-family houses that have 20, 30 people living in, and I am not exaggerating. Just that many people be living in one house.
Your time is up, but your point is well received. Thank you very much. Is there a response as the business administrator to the last speaker?
No, I just wanted to say that we will be enforcing the order.
And one thing that I actually want to state, you brought something up that may not have been one of your questions, but you talked about the homes being owned by LLCs, whether by route of our legislative research officer, Mr. Warren, or maybe from the administration. But can we look into if there is anything to register if a home is owned not by a resident but an LLC? What would we be able to do the tracking or registering those names so that we actually have a file in town? I think that would be something that we might be surprised by, how many homes are LLCs, but I think you bring up a good point that made you think. So thank you. Your turn. So you patiently waiting. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Faye Ryerson, 72 Hillside Avenue. Welcome. I guess I first want to say congratulations. I know quite a bit of you personally and have known you. But my first point of order would be regarding this revow. I understand it's mandated by the state, and that's fine. But my point would be, I live in a two-family. I chose not to rent it. That's my preference, second floor. However, you do have other homes that used to be two families that are now three families and four families, and they're illegal. How is that going to affect you saying that individuals may get in and may not get in, and they'll do it based on, I don't know, I don't recall what you said, but I don't feel that it's fair that I have a legal two-family, no basement apartment, and other neighbors do, and they're being charged the rate of a two-family. Across the street is another one that I brought up to the council before, and clearly 69 Hillside Avenue is an Airbnb. Well, when it's time to do this revow, are they going to be able to get in? No, because previous administrations have said because the owner doesn't live there, they're not able to get in and have access to the facility or to the home. Well, again, that's not fair. So how would that be addressed when and if, or should I say when we do this revow according to the state?
Well, there's a couple areas, a couple of things that will happen. In their assessment, when they go out, a lot of times, if they see something that was previously, say, a two-family and now it's actually being occupied as a three-family, they will reassess it as a three-family. And so that means that they will get reassessed at a higher rate. That's on the revow side. So if we go and if we see somebody that's expanded, whether they got heads to do it or not, but now it's they actually acting as a three-family instead of a two-family. We didn't change the book, make it three-family. They pay more. They'll pay three-family. So on the other side, we are galvanizing to do code enforcement around the Airbnb, we have an ordinance on the books that says that there's no Airbnb can be operated less than 30 days a month. And so, again, the person before you asked that we enforce the ordinances, and so that's one that's already on the radar. Matter of fact, the last couple of weeks, I'm aware of a couple that we've had to send the police out, as well as our code enforcement act to address. So some of those things are naturally going to be addressed outside of the revow, but if it's a revow and we know the activity of what it is, then it's going to get evaluated based upon what it's actually being used for.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I guess my question was, if you're not able to get in, or they're not able to get in, how are you going to be accurately assessing what's been done inside of that property?
Your time is up, but one of the statements earlier was that they will basically use generalizations. So if you're not, some people will not use, allow people in the home, but what they'll do is they'll go around and do comparisons and be able to assess it that way. But I think, again, our hope is that between this meeting and the next meeting, that we actually do a little bit more research so that we can actually articulate what is the process, whether we go the route of waiting, whether we go the route of lobbying our legislators, our state officials, what is the process going to be? Right now, we're not in a position to say what that's going to be, but I think there's a number of issues that we heard this evening from Airbnbs, basements, having the commercial vehicles in the streets, and something else that I heard, that we need to have all the different issues addressed, because these are things that aren't coming up consistently. So we do want to look into some of those diplomatic impacts. What are we doing or not doing? Because what was on the books as far as not having basement apartments of yesteryear, there are many homes that have basement apartments today. So what happens, to your point? So I think that we are hearing and we are logging and tracking the comments that are coming out this evening, and we will not let them go into an abysmal, but we will bring them back up. But thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Just the other point, sometimes you can tell you don't have to get in, like I know around my block, I live in the hillside as well, one family. So if I see 3 mailboxes, I don't have to be in, but it really should be a one family. I know it's 3 families and they got 3 separate mailboxes on the floor. So there's ways for them to recognize and to address it. And their possession is, and the people get an opportunity to express it as well, because when we have those community meetings, you have an opportunity. And so when they get assessed high, they either come in and tell the truth, or they let you in. And so that's it.
And especially for an owner, right? Because if you're a renter, then that can also be concerned. But I think there's a number of things that we just mentioned.
Sure.
The Airbnb, the additional apartments, the commercial, how do these things impact our township? Because there have been different governance rules that have not been addressed in many years.
Yes.
So we do want to look into whether it's looking into changing the laws, or are we looking to really maybe do some of the innovative thinking of not necessarily going to court, but having some kind of accountability if
Yes.
things are being violated.
Yeah, it's on our radar. Those are the things that John has mentioned, and those are a couple of those things are already on right at the top.
And then LLCs is another, just having the homeowners, the properties that are owned by LLCs, because that is also separate and distinct. It could be a little bit blurred with Airbnbs, but we do want to look into that matter as well. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Hunter, 1485 Compton Terrace. So I wanted to continue that conversation about the Airbnb and what happened. I'm just wondering about that tax assessment and being able to have access to the home, because what happened on my block was that there was a situation where one of the homes, it was under, I think, a LLC or something. And so this is my concern. When they finally got into the home to look at it, and it was mandated that we could get in, and that's because they had about 15 air conditioners. So that was kind of what tipped everybody up. So when we went inside, not me personally.
But the neighbors were kind of vigilant.
Right, the neighbors were kind of
And that's what we
had
what
a,
happened was when they got inside, they found that it was really a rooming house. So my concern about allowing or not allowing LLCs and people who use Airbnbs using this as a business, not getting into theirs to do something else into their homes. It's not like how we individually live in a single family home, but my concern is about the businesses. So should it be, I think, in my opinion, it should be mandatory if it's a business that we get access to evaluate what's inside because of the room houses that have been
having a problem.
yeah.
So rooming houses is another level that we have to, that we would like some information on. But that particular rooming house was random 8 people as well, which was not very productive for the environment and community, from what I heard. But again, it was really the neighbors who were very vigilant. So we need to really think about how we can instill models to support the residential neighborhoods, the anchoring that our community. So, not to take away your time, I'm sorry.
That's okay, but that was my concern. The second thing is about misdemeanors. So, I understand that the project is already in place right now and it's moving forward. But my concern is about the taxes. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, I was informed that they have a 10-year tax exempt abatement in place, a tax abatement in place. So how does that affect us? And can that be changed? Because it's a large property. And how can we change that they're not paying taxes for 10 years if that is the case?
It's a payment in lieu, so they do pay taxes. So they pay the regular taxes on the land itself. And then on the improvements, what happens is they call it a payment in lieu of taxes. So it's an agreed amount. And that agreed amount has escalations in over the 10-year period. So they are paying taxes. They probably will pay about the same amount of taxes they're currently paying now over the 10 years, but then it will jump up. I can get you, I don't have the exact figures on the head, but we can go through the exact numbers and see the exact escalation, how much you will get, how much the taxes are. But they are paying. It's not totally tax exempt. So,
but with the taxes, just trying to understand, if they're improving the property, and now they're talking about putting an X amount of families, and if that's going to change not only that, our whole entire infrastructure. So how is that going to affect us when we already have a problem?
Ms. Hunter, what I would suggest is, if there's a planning board meeting tomorrow, we also have another council meeting. I think we should put these concerns on record. At the next council meeting, we can look to potentially, because there are a number of projects that were named this evening that we may need a recap or update at the next council meeting. But that way we can actually have some of these questions that you're asking, including the payment in lieu of taxes, something that sounds concerning that I also thought about was the North Broad Street. I know that they were not paying taxes and we gave them an agreement. So maybe bring some of these to the next council meeting, just an update. And that way it gives the administration time to be able to properly prepare and give an update overall, because there's a lot of different projects that we're talking about in addition to different rebound and how we're going to try to address it. But perhaps we can get an update and be able to provide that at the next meeting, and then be able to subsequently figure out, we need a larger one issue meeting on just the development on one town. Okay. Would that be acceptable?
That's acceptable. And I have the last question real quick.
Giving you leeway because I took your time. This is your last question.
No, this is the last one. It's really quick. When we were talking about the commercial vehicles, and I think the gentleman said that we were looking into hiring code enforcement for a nighttime. So is that a part-time position, or are you employing the current? Giving overtime to the current employees.
Okay, I got from my eye over here, I see the mayor is not shaking her head. That was the first time we heard that.
No
as
overtime.
well. So what we'll have to do is, we will say that unless there's a
We ain't giving out no overtime.
Mr. J, do you have an answer?
So right now, what the plan basically is to put in place some strategies to be able to enforce. So what John was mentioning, he had proposed a plan that we hire part-time folks to do. Hasn't been finalized, but we agreed upon. First step was to get the ordinance on the book. Then the second step was to see how we manage it, and how much power it may even be just for a certain period of time to get it back on track. But once we enforce to a certain level, then our goal is to get folks to adhere. Once they adhere, we don't need folks out there enforcing because it's no longer a problem. So that's basically like that's what he has to think. Again, we haven't finalized. He blurted it out tonight.
All right, that's it. Thank you for your time.
And just as a follow-up, Mr. Administrator, when I was speaking earlier to Mr. Sowell, I asked the question, was the funding going to be earmarked anywhere? And so this is why I asked that question, because it could be a pocket of money that we put within the particular, how we lay out this particular program or the funding that comes back, that can actually support the additional funds that can hire these people. So I would like that to be something to be considered. He said it was going to the general fund, but if it was specifically earmarked to support something to the fact that no, back in the day, UEC was able to have UEC funding to do specific things just like that. But maybe we can look at that model and see if we can adopt something to that effect for the next year. Let us know whether that's the direction or another. LRO, if there's best practices that the council can provide to the administration, that I would like to consider to do that as well. We still have public comments. We actually have a first, we're going to go through and then we'll go. Come on up. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Very short question.
Your name and your address, please.
My name is Emmanuel Iwo. I'm from Thomas Street.
What address?
1045 Thomas Street. 1045 Thomas Street.
Thank you.
My question is regarding the evaluation of properties on the inside. If it can be done, that is the assist us.
We cannot hear you because you're speaking away from the mic.
What I'm saying, if it can be done,
What is the topic? The rebound.
Yes.
Okay.
If it can be done without increasing taxes on residents, that affects everybody. Because the people who have is taxes. Let the state or whatever establish that cost. But let the tax remain the same. Of course, they can value the property, but let the tax remain the same.
Thank you. I saw there was one more, Ms. Val, and then Ms. Janice. Okay. Is there anyone else in the public who would like to speak this evening? Who will be next? Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to welcome all of the people, and I'd also like to offer an apology to the Council. Last week I was very upset that I come over, the police not here, it's on Zoom, no notice. So my issue for the last probably 5 years, better communication, I'm very disappointed. I hope the new administration make a way for the taxpayers to be able to know where their taxpayers' dollars are being spent, how it's being spent, plus the most party that my dollars are paying for. I want to know about that. So I'm disappointed. I'm hoping the new administration will handle this lack of communication to the residents. Make sure we know what's going on. That's what I want. I don't even need to look at it.
It's okay.
Everybody knows my concern. I've been complaining for years. Please do something about it. I don't want to miss another week because nobody knows about me. I'll say this. On this little thing, put down the Zoom thing. So we'll know if we don't miss it, you got to fly it with that out. So try to help us out a little bit.
That's a good idea. Thank you for coming with a concern and a solution.
Yes, and my apologies for being a little upset on Facebook.
Exactly.
Okay, my issue also, I've seen the truck and was reminders. Now I want to know, are these trucks paying taxes? for selling food. And also, I see Randy got a little, a truck parking going on over there. It's an eyesore. I want to officially complain. I do not like that look with all the trucks at Randy. What are we running?
Talking about the food trucks.
Yeah, the food trucks, yeah. So are they fantastic? But it's an eyesore. So why are we putting up with this clutter of trucks sitting on the corner there? For what?
So can that be an item that we address at the next meeting? Can we get the details of who these trucks are? They're not only in those locations, I've also seen them at the Stable Lot. I know it's a private business, but if there's other locations that residents and or council have seen, please forward it to the clerk. And we'll make sure that that's a question we can address at the next meeting. Because I don't know the answer, I don't think the council, but we'll ask the administration to explore
It's
that.
on a private property, like it's in the Stable Lot. It's an eyesore. What are they doing for us to city? The Stable Lot being their tax. Is this drug fair taxes?
Correct. That's a good question. So we will have that for the next meeting.
Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you.
There was actually one before you, Candace. Look, man, everyone has to go with a response, please.
Good evening, Richard Carter, Clark Street. Couple quick things. First thing, you all do your time. I'm tired. I love you. So I mentioned that I spoke to my councilwoman a little bit about getting these meetings recorded and online. And I appreciate the mayor. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I appreciate the mayor doing this, but I'd rather my mayor be doing mayor's than for the meeting. So is there a budget or anything? Is this on the books to
So there is a budget, and there was, we did not expect walking in this evening for the mayor. We did see that the clerk was doing it, but I did inquire for the mayor to assist because we would not be ready right now. So I don't think that it's an ordinary thing that happens. We're fortunate that we worked with the mayor, so she really is a part of, government. So it's not a, oh, the mayor's doing this or not. I think that all of the folks up here are trying to do what we have to do, given sometimes what we inherited. But we are in the process of looking at some options. We have talked about it. We have looked at the last quarter, almost about 50% of what we were spending last year. So that wasn't feasible outside the budget, given the concerns we have. However, we are vigilantly looking into options. But no, it is not the ideal, but many things we inherited this year are not ideal either.
Great. And a possible solution, I do have someone that may try to work with that, so I'll talk to you more about that. Not yet.
That would also help with what Ms. Val has said as well. So.
Exactly. That's it. The second thing I wanted to bring up was the ordinance about the parking that we were talking about earlier. I just wanted to also bring up, I didn't hear it mentioned, 2026. Right? And so we do want businesses in the town, but we don't also push them away. So maybe there's a way, and I'm speaking personally because I sometimes drive a commercial vehicle, which I also park at home. But 20, 30 years ago, a commercial vehicle meant big truck, whatever. The vehicle I drive is a Ford Escape, but it has commercial plates. But there are times I need to drive at home because I need to get to work. I work in the city. I need to leave my house 6:30, 7 a.m. If I don't have it home, that means I got to get up at 4 to drive plans to go grab it when I'm allowed to have a commercial vehicle on my property. So I would like the council to also consider, because I heard the concern, I hear it, I see it, as far as those trucks parking and blocking homeowners. But also want you to consider there are also, home-based businesses or people who are learning through the internet that yes, you can save through taxes, you can save through whatever, or purchase a car through an LLC or whatever you want to do. But if you're not allowed to park at home, well, where do you really park?
Your time is up.
Consider that.
We definitely will have what you're stating on record, but it is going to be very important to look at that ordinance because we need to really think about just why the ordinance was established in the first place. We haven't really enforced it. So now we're also looking to try to curb because those commercial vehicles, what is the solution? So if it's just one person, you say, well, you have a reason, but we need to think about if we register those people who have a commercial vehicle council, so I'm not sure if that's been right now considered, but we have to really think and understand that it is becoming cumbersome in the community. And so it's going to have to be some type of solution. But I would say, in addition to what you've shared this evening, if you have examples or if you want to send any correspondence to myself that I can share with the council and or to the clerk, we can share those particular concerns to the administration as we look. This was the first reading, but people need to understand that after the second reading, it will go into effect. So if you do have additional thoughts or examples or how to find a solution, then I would definitely recommend you share those with us.
I share one, take 5 seconds. I know my time is 5 seconds. If I can just make this quick statement. Hear that sound? Can we please have someone address? They've been talking about this for a while. Because sometimes when you're, even when she's recording this, you hear the clicking, and everybody's like, can we say please fix that? So
thank you for your comments. Thank you to that. We'll send that to the administration. And Ms. McDuffie. Good evening.
Lisa McDuffie, 1576 Maple Avenue, Brookside. I work here. I come there every day. I go to her, get breakfast, and I see the kids walk into school. But we need to have a police officer on Maple Avenue, Brookside Avenue. Every day, every time I park there, I see cars rushing to get to work. The light turns red, they still make that left. And it almost hit me, it almost hit a kid. I'm afraid for these kids. We are going to wait until somebody gets hit by a car. We just need a cop on the corner. Let them chase it. They're going through the light. That's ridiculous. It's a school zone. Pedestrians, regardless, no matter what. I've been living in this town. I work in WA. I've never had that issue before. We need a police officer out there in the morning to ticket these people from driving so fast. If they can't get to work on time, maybe we can get up a little earlier, but still wrong. We need to prove to them, oh, you can't go on the hillside and just go through the lights like they'll give you a ticket. Enforce it, please. Thank you.
Come on, Ms. Janice.
Janice, 140 Baltimore Avenue. I know most of you guys know I'm a part of the Hillside Concerns Citizen Movement. I get a lot of calls from Hillside residents. And I know it's the talk of the town now about this assessment. But also, we're concerned about the seniors when they do this assessment. A lot of them, tax was reduced because they were seniors. What's going to happen to them? That's the question we need to answer, okay? Because they're going to ask me that question also. They're asking that question. What's going to happen to their property tax? It's going to go up. They got a break. Now they're going to get assessed and it's going to go back up again. Okay? So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Moulton, 1398 Liberty Avenue. I'm not here about the restaurant. I'm just addressing the taxes. With the taxes, I think I'm a realtor as well. And this is the highest that the homes have ever been. And just like you said before, if we delay it, then probably the house prices may go down. And when the assessments are being done, probably they will be assessed a little bit lower because again, this is the highest homes that's ever been in over a decade. So probably just waiting a little bit and just delaying the process, the homes will go down and the tax. I have finished all my inspection. However, I'm still on the board, so that's the only thing that I'm doing.
You have a soft opening day or did it for you?
I was going to invite my family and friends to come there this weekend so that they could have a look at it and see because they haven't been there. But it's open to the public for the public to come there and view it if they want to view it. And just,
Did you reach out to the mayor and coordinate with her so that
yes.
the township is aware
Yes.
and she's going to support them? But because that's something that we should speak. But if we work with the mayor and inform the council, we can try to be aware. Is it across the street?
You all right?
Yes.
Let's see if I got a piece of candy.
Yeah, so we just didn't invite my family and friends to come over. We had a meeting yesterday that was canceled, so I was just going to continue to delay it. But again, it's open. Some of the people are came there for employment. And just the last thing, 90% of the employment there are from Hillside.
So the food is so they're already served food?
We didn't start serving food yet.
So it's not open?
No.
It's just to be clear, so you're saying, so it's just for viewing?
Anyone is welcome to come there and viewing. This weekend, my family's come there for soft openings.
With food?
Yes, with food this weekend.
So after this week, so if you can send to the clerk, what's the mayor, what the vote, the date that you're actually opening, please let us know.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are there any other comments? Seeing none, we have a motion to, wait one more second.
Aaron Davis, 1544 Marketplace. I had asked this question once before. The contractors that are here in Hillside, that runs their business from their home, how are they taxed? Are they taxed as a homeowner or are they taxed as a business? Because all three on my block runs their business from their home.
So it's another good point that you raised that will add to our list of things that we don't necessarily, we'll see if there's any ordinances. So again, the council deals with ordinances. We deal with creating the local laws, being able to create policies that can help run the township that is actually taken care of or managed through the administration. So as we hear these things, we have to make sure that there's ordinances or laws on the books that the administration can take up and actually implement. I had to get that word out, but I did, so thank you. But those are the things that we do. So we do look to hear and make sure that if there's anything that we currently have on the books, we don't have on the books, there's some long-term issues that have been financial and other, but we do need to really put them back onto the priority list of things that we need to do. So thank you. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to close public comments?
Motion.
In a second? All in favor? This evening, there are no correspondence, but we will look to see if there's other messages that come from the county and other. I think that we did get some things, but we'll make sure we add them to the next agenda. Communication, I have some communication that came from the Mayor's Office of Administration and Recreation. Councilman Cook, do you want to share that particular communication with us?
Yes, Black History Month event that was canceled last month will now take place Sunday, March 22nd at the Community Center at 3 p.m. If you make it out there, please make it. And this being Women's History Month, yes, Black History Month, I just want to let you guys know that today is Harry Tubman.
And I will then go to my council vice president. David, can you please share the council correspondence of communication, please?
This is the first of hopefully 4 township-wide proclamations that will be going out for First Story Fridays that we'll be doing. We'll be posting them on the council Facebook page and on the website. These are to highlight women-owned businesses in town and to really bring Women's Appreciation Month to light. This week we are highlighting Yara Marin, who is part of the Revive Salon and Spa. She's being spotlighted this week as a woman-owned business serving Hillside community with beauty, care, and creativity. We thank women entrepreneurs whose vision, leadership, and dedication continue to shape the story of Hillside. And if people want to nominate anyone to participate in this, we'd like to highlight women-owned business in Hillside and bring life to their businesses, and hopefully they can be prosperous and help the rest of Hillside as well.
Thank you so much, Council Vice President. Seeing that there's no additional communication, we are now going to open to council remarks, and I'll start to my left, and we'll go with Councilman De Silva.
Thank you, Madam. Again, just want to reiterate the message with the whole evaluation. I thank the council for tabling it. I think it's the right thing to do. I think we push it off as much as we can, as far as we can, until the state mandates that we get it done. And I think we win at the end. Because like the young lady said, the properties may not come down that much, because if you look at history, houses that were 100,000 in the year 1999 went to 300, and now they're probably 500. And in this market today, they're probably close to 600, because there's a demand for the homes, too many buyers, not enough sellers. So I'm telling you, you'll fight for these properties, and people overpay for these properties.
So the reevaluation at this time now will be higher than expected, in my personal opinion. So that's where I stand on that issue. I think if we wait longer, I think we all benefit from it. And when the state imposes it, they don't start sanctioning it. They'll impose it. Then we start going through the process. And then we go to either rebound. Hopefully by that time, with the leadership of our mayor, we can get this town in order. And we can move forward and understand that payment's coming, but it'll be minimized because it's stretched out in the next 3 or 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Cook?
Council President, I want to thank everyone for coming out today and all the comments, questions. They were very interesting. It gave me a few questions I wanted to ask, not expecting an answer to them. And as far as the policy goes, you know, about the situation they had in Jersey City early on, the policy, the schools weren't getting any of the money, but the population was increasing again. I want to know if that's going to be addressed here. Also, properties around town, some people are simply not taking care of their properties anymore, they built them. And so we're talking about, of course, the own ordinance, the code enforcement says to get up on it, we man up, check that out. Also, someone mentioned the light on Hillside, but that's been an issue since I was in 2nd, 8th grade back in 1930. I was just wondering, it is about time that we can see if we can really look at the stop on radio. So they just dangerous that intersection anyway, without the school being there, but with the school being there, very dangerous. And also, question about ICE, I know this is really for the police, I got a call about an incident that happened a few weeks ago, and I was just wondering, does ICE contact the post office and let them know that they're here, so we know what's going on. Had incidents in 2 cities where people have got killed with ICE, they involve work when it comes to pursuing vehicles, so I think we should know, or the police should know. And again, the last thing, I want to thank the mayor, the VA, and the DPW for fixing the potholes on North Union members, and people feel like moon praisers, and the residents really appreciate you fixing those. And if you do have problems with potholes, please don't go on Facebook, call DPW. They can't fix what they don't know about, so please contact them. All right, thank you.
Councilwoman.
I really like what DPW has been doing the last few weeks with cleaning the streets. They're putting the streets on notice. They're letting you know that they're coming down their block and that there's cars not being moved. I like that. Because ultimately it comes down to you whether or not they can clean your street. You need to have your neighbors remember that it's street cleaning day. Get your cars off the street, just like we had the problem with snow. Move your cars so that the town can adhere to its street cleaning and snow removal things. That's key, and DPW is actually putting it on Facebook. Secondly, I heard a lot about Airbnbs. I'm concerned, and I want to know if we're thinking forward in regards to the World Soccer Championships, FIFA. I want to know, are we prepared for what ultimately could be us being compromised by Airbnbs absorbing our town, because they're saying that these Airbnbs are going to go for astronomical amounts of dollars, and they're already coming around the areas asking if we want to rent our homes for the week, if we want to take vacation that week that they're around, the 6 weeks that they're here. So I think we have to be proactive with that. And it's also going to be a problem, and the town needs to be aware, there's going to be a problem with sex trafficking. You have to be alert. Community, town, blocks, you have to be aware. If you see young women going into homes, if you see girls that don't belong in the neighborhood, that's sex trafficking. You need to alert the police. We have to stay vigilant. We have to protect one another. And there's no better way than our community getting involved and taking notice of what's going on in our neighborhood. So let's be vigilant, let's keep everyone safe, and thank you for coming out this week.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Vice President.
Just a couple of quick comments. One thing that the new code enforcement UEC gentleman Johnson will mention, which I think is going to be a tremendous change, and we're hearing a little bit more about that tonight, is the fact that tickets will now be able to be paid online in a much faster system. What that does is it prevents people from skipping the court date, delay, and it creates a tremendous amount of administrative burden. What he was mentioning and what's helping Hillside right now, which is going to be tremendous, is we're going to have a lot more code enforcement issues coming up with parking, with the resolution that we're going to pass, hopefully with commercial vehicles. You want to be able to handle it and make sure these fines are imposed and people pay them. So I want to say thank you for that. That's really, I think, a tremendous step forward. I will also thank the DPW. Given the snow and the plows, there was a crater that was made on a couple streets. Emailed DPW, within 2 days it was done, fixed, patched, and people were just thrilled. So we know that the long-term fix will be when the weather's more permitting, but kudos to the DPW for getting that done. And the last thing on the DPW thought is, if we can share the schedule of street cleanings with the clerk so that the council people can alert their wards and the people at large, it's on there.
It's in your ordinance.
If the clerk can send me the ordinance, make sure that I'm aware of the streets that are going to be cleaned, that would be great. Because as Councilwoman Bonanno said, it is helpful to everyone when we all participate and do this together. Thank you so much.
So I just want to thank all council members this evening for being just engaging. I think that one of the goals of this council this year is that we truly want to take a more active role in making sure that we have our role right in front and center on what we are doing. So I think that what you see is that we really are taking a different approach, not a better approach, not a new approach, but just a different approach to how we engage with each other, with the work that we are doing before we get to these council meetings. We get a report that we have received over 65 people who've expressed interest in participating in our boards or commissions that will be council appointed. We are looking forward to the next council meeting of doing those appointments. We have preliminary engagements with all of the interested members of the community tomorrow, Wednesday. There's 2 slots. There's a 12 o'clock session and again a 6 o'clock session. So I want to thank the council in advance for participating and making sure that we allow our residents to be a part of the solutions and not just being able to ask them to come and vote. So I'm looking forward to an ongoing relationship, not just sometimes, but all the time, so that we all can be accountable. So I'm very, very proud. I also thank the clerk's office for engaging this new approach as well, for really allowing us to be able to step in front of the community and the roles that we were elected to do. I want to thank the administration, the mayor, the business administrator, the attorney, and our very own legislative research officer, because this is not something that we do alone. It takes a village, even on the electoral side. So I just want to thank all of the parties that are making this community something different, which is what our community asked us to do. So on behalf of the council, I just want to thank the residents for very intentional comments this evening. We also have a system that we are not tracking these comments, so we can make sure as a council we're doing data tracking and making sure that we follow up on the concerns that we're hearing, and also able to keep ourselves accountable. So we'll be able to know when these comments came in and how we were able to work with the administration, work with the community, work with each other. So it's really, one last thing I want to share this evening is that with these committees, we actually do have conversation with Councilman De Silva to create a FIFA portion or committee to think about what the FIFA will look like, not just some of the potential negative things that can happen, but also what can we do to celebrate FIFA coming into our area. So we will look forward to some feedback at our next council meeting. We're looking at each council person to really lead different efforts. So you'll hear more at our next council meeting. But that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us again next time. Have a good night. Is there a motion to close public comments? I mean, not public comments. Is there a motion to close the meeting? 8:30. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Second.
All in favor?
No.